Good chat. Sorry for the massive delay after I started stream. YouTube decided they didn't want to connect. We're all good now. I apologize. I had to reload the page literally 15 times. So, we're fine now. Chat, how's it going today on this fine Sunday evening? Are y'all chilling? How's it going? How's y'all's weekend going? Also, I have this coffee with this absolutely massive straw. Please don't mind the massive straw. They're reusable, and my smaller one has gone missing. So do not mind the ridiculously oversized straw, okay? Thank you. Chat, we have a great stream today planned out. So here's what we're gonna do. If you were here yesterday, we were pretty much following the same format, so I'm excited. We're going to start out with a couple reacts. Now, I did notice an issue yesterday with the reacts where the audio would get off. I did solve the problem to that issue, so we're all good now. I was very dumbly running the audio through like a third source for no reason at all. So we're good now on that. It should not be delayed. We're going to have 2 videos to react to. I'm excited. Speaking of reacts, chat, I sent the message in my Discord as well. If you have any videos you want me to react to, of course, this needs to be semi-family friendly, please. You can send on my Discord in my media section, and I will maybe react to them on stream. So send your videos there. We've got 2 great videos on the docket today. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be ranking all 12 Mario Kart games. I'm very excited about this. I do have a strong opinion about... Wait a minute, when was this made? 1 year ago? Okay, so this will not be including Mario Kart World. I just realized. That's fine. I don't care. I want to see, besides Mario Kart World anyways, where the other ones rank, so that is totally fine. Unless I can find one where they include Mario Kart World. Should I find one where they include it, high key? High key? Should I? Hang on. Let me see if I can find one really quick that includes it. That was about a year ago, because Mario Kart World came out less than a year ago, right? 2 months ago? Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, I found a new one. We're gonna do a new one. I want to do it this 2 months. Yep, this one was 2 months ago. Okay. I'll put it up right here. Watch. Hang on. Chat, wait. Oh, that was kind of loud. Okay. Perfect. Ignore the ad. Okay, so we got a new. I want to do one that includes Mario Kart World. This one should, considering it includes World Tour. Where's World? Okay, good. We're good. Yep. So we'll do that one first. Sorry, and then after that, we will switch to ranking the final boss of every Mario game. I am very curious about this. I have my own opinion as someone that's played a lot of Mario games. Now, whether they're ranking this on difficulty or just how peak it is, what it's look like, look at it. There we go. From peak to bleak. So I do have an opinion on which one should be top. We'll see if we're correct. Chat, let's go ahead and dive into the videos. I'm excited. Lock in. Also, I am 99% sure you can hear the sound. I'm muting the ad real quick. But if you can't hear, if it's too loud or too quiet, please let me know. Here we go. Y'all can hear this, yes? Do not troll me. Y'all can hear that, correct? I see the audio coming through. Wait, we're on just chatting. Hang on, wait. No. Wait. Now you can hear it. Wait, ready?
And surprisingly, in last place isn't...
Now y'all can hear that, correct? Now you can hear it. I'm gonna trust you can, because I see the audio coming through. Now you can. Okay, yep, thank you so much. All right, here we go, guys. Lock in. Like I said, Mario Kart games ranked. Let's see what we got. Ooh. Starting off the video real nice with a Daisy reference.
Mario Kart Tour, it's Mario Kart Home
Circuit. I don't know if it's too loud or too quiet.
Preposterous! For what it is, Home Circuit is pretty cool, but what it is barely a game. It's an RC car with augmented reality technology, which in and of itself is a good idea, but if someone asked me if I want
Wait.
isn't Mario Kart Tour, it's
Oh,
Mario
Tour.
Kart Home Circuit.
Oh, home circuit.
Preposterous!
Okay.
For what it is, Home Circuit is pretty cool, but what it is barely a game. It's an RC car with augmented reality technology,
I never
which in
played
and of
this one.
itself is a good idea, but if someone asked me if I wanted to play Mario Kart and then proceeded to whip out this, I would call the police immediately.
that's kinda
In order for
cool.
this to work, you not only have to have the Switch and the RC car, but a large enough space to actually play. So it's great if you own a home and have enough space to play, but for the average person and compared to every other Mario Kart game, this is just the worst.
Okay, hi,
As an
T.
idea, Mario Kart Tour is genius.
That's
It
kinda
took
cool.
Mario Kart on the go without a need to own a Nintendo console.
remember when
And you
Tour
would
came
think this
out.
game would be great, but
Yeah.
it is anything but. Tour did a lot of things that are really cool.
Halloween's
They
in it.
added a bunch of characters, some of which I had never
Dr.
even
Luigi
considered to
too.
be a racer in the series.
And King
Granted,
Kong.
most of the characters ended up being costume variants for others, but as a concept, especially for a live service game, it just works.
What's up,
But
Colby?
outside of that cool idea, the problems begin when you start playing the game, because it is just awful. The
Aren't there a
controls
lot of
themselves
mini
are
transactions
disgusting.
in this?
At this point, the game has been out for years, but for some reason, you can't use a controller to play the game. Technically, there is a workaround, but I should
It's a little louder. What do you mean? You can't hear me? Are you saying you can't hear me? Okay, is that better?
didn't need a degree in computer science in order to use a controller for a game that should have support.
Weren't there a
for
bunch
it.
of mini
I started playing this
transactions
when
in
it
this?
first came out because I was really excited for the idea of what Mario Kart Tour could be, and they were really secretive about the game up until it launched. And then when it did, I understood why.
This is all right? Now give me all your money.
There have been a couple Nintendo mobile games,
I
and
have
most of them
Twitch
are okay
open.
at best. Even though it costs
It's better. Thank you so
$10,
much.
I did like Mario Run,
Mark,
and
are
I would
we on
much
top?
rather pay an upfront fee than to have microtransactions shoved down my throat. In this game, there
Yeah,
are so many microtransactions,
There you go.
and
What did I say?
just do not understand why. When this released, and for a while after, there were so many gacha mechanics that were stuffed into every portion
You
of the
know
game
what
that made me
also
not
had?
want.
You know what also had a bunch of microtransactions? Do y'all remember what was the Mario app called? Mario Run. Mario Run. Chat, when that came out, that was such a big deal, right? It was like huge. It was like one of the first. It was like one of the first Mario mobile games, and then it just had a bunch of microtransactions. So Nintendo, what are you doing with your apps? Get it together.
To play it. Sure, it was satisfying
Join
to
my
pull
Discord,
down the
Kelsey.
pipe
Welcome
and see
in.
what you get, but even though it looked like it, it didn't feel like Nintendo. Luckily, they removed most of the gacha mechanics in favor of just buying the characters outright for the same currency, and that is a much more digestible way. There are still microtransactions, including a full subscription service with the Gold Pass. I still thought robbery was a crime,
There's
but
a
apparently I'm wrong.
whole
Though everything is still
subscription
wildly
process?
priced, you can unlock a good amount of rubies just by playing the game. I have a solid
anyone
amount,
play
and
this
I haven't
anymore?
spent $1 on this in years. And since it released, they added actual online play. But considering there are so many microtransactions, they shuffle through stages repeatedly, so you can never just play the stage you want. And the different stages have a best-in-class
Chad, does
system that
anyone
makes
play
it
this
almost
anymore?
not worth playing on a stage if you don't have the good carts. It feels like they ruined what could have been a great mobile experience because they wanted to make money. At its core, the
This game is
okay,
trash.
and I'm glad it's gotten better. But if you own
Well, it's at
any
the bottom
of the
of
other
the
Mario Kart
ranking, so-
titles, I can't think of a good reason to pick this over anything else. And
Yeah.
only slightly better than Tour are the Mario Kart arcade machines.
Buddy, you're gonna hit me with an ad?
I did have to sneak my way into Dave & Buster's in order to play this,
Oh
but for
my
being an
gosh.
arcade racing game, I kind of get it. Like most arcade racing games, it comes with a wheel and pedals so you feel like you're actually driving a car. It has been a while since I played this because I'm not technically allowed in Dave & Buster's
don't
anymore,
like-
but the character and track selection is pretty interesting. They have a good
Okay.
selection of standard Mario characters and some exclusives like Pac-Man and Don-Chan because the game was also partly developed by Namco. There's a pretty decent selection of tracks,
I don't like
but the
those
thing
racing
I didn't
arcade
like is that I
games.
can't pick what cart I want to use. There's a wheel that spins and whatever you land on is what you get. But once you're actually racing, it's fine. The best part about this is absolutely the drifting. Using a wheel with brakes and gas as a way to drift
That's
feels
cool.
really good.
Yeah,
but
that's
paying
cool.
$5 to do
What
a
did bro do?
one-lap race of Mario Kart is absolutely
idea.
diabolical. Depending on when and where you go, the cost will vary, and I get it's absolutely more about the experience of going to these establishments than actually playing the games. So for what it is, it's fine. I'm just not going to an an arcade to play Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Super Mario Kart was almost the first Mario racing.
Alright, here's the
With the
OG.
release of the Super Nintendo, home
Here's the
consoles
OG.
were finally strong enough to render a 3D environment for a racing game. And this was a racing game that was made for multiplayer action. Can you tell? If you're playing single player, the bottom half of the screen will be a map for the track
Bro,
you're on.
look
And no matter
how
how many
small
times
the
I've played the game, I
course
just
is.
cannot get over this. When I grew up playing this, I only played multiplayer, so going back and playing
my
this now
gosh.
isn't as bad. Except for the fact whenever I play this, I get PTSD.
No, please.
Are you watching Mario Kart history? No, we're watching a ranking of all the Mario Kart games.
Make it stop. Please make it stop.
No matter how many hours I put into this, the controls are consistently bad. Anytime I attempt to drift, it is way too sensitive and
Well,
I
it
end
is
up
like
crashing
40 years
immediately.
old.
And if you ever slip out of first place, there is no going back. Each of the characters
So
has their
basically
own
like
special
Mario
item
Kart
that they will
World.
abuse you with, and make sure that you will never get back in first place no matter how hard you try. But because Nintendo wanted
I
to
don't
make the
see
game
a
fun,
difference
the
between
computers
now
can
and
rubber
then.
band and catch up almost immediately, which makes the whole experience
Mario
a
Kart Wii and
speedrun
7
of
my
being a
favorite?
victim. That's
I
not
never
to say
played
the game
7,
is
I don't
bad,
think.
because there are some
Wii is
interesting
goated.
things that make it worth playing, like each of the cups containing 5 races instead of the modern 4, and you can play as Donkey Kong Jr. This released before Donkey Kong Country, so I'm not surprised
Donkey
it didn't have
Kong
DK,
Jr..
but I'm also not surprised that we haven't seen Donkey Kong Jr. in a Mario Kart since. Oh god, he's back. Without Super Mario Kart, the entire series wouldn't exist, and for
True.
that, I'm thankful. And
There
even
you
though
go.
I have nostalgia for it, I would most likely pick any other game before I picked this one back up. I played so much Super Circuit as a kid, and it was
Nah,
frankly
get this
disgusting.
outta
It was
here.
the first game in the series to release for a handheld console, and the Game Boy Advance was the perfect way to get Mario Kart on the go.
Chat, y'all
for the
messed with
first
the Game
time.
Boy?
They did a good job of taking what worked about Super Circuit and Mario
The Game
Kart
Boy
64
was just
and blending
before
it
my-
together.
No, that's not
Especially with the
true.
visuals
It was,
that are
like,
some
right
of
when
the
I was
most
a kid.
Interesting
It
in
was,
the
like,
whole
right when I was a
franchise.
kid.
All of the backgrounds for the tracks look great, and the tracks themselves look like they were pulled directly from the Super
y'all
Nintendo.
too young to
when
know
you
what the
compare
Game
it to
Boy is?
Mario Kart 64, it doesn't look as good, but you gotta remember that you could play this in church.
My friend,
Take your evil away.
chat, my friend, I feel like my mic is so loud. My friend, so listen, I want to tell you all a very funny story about the Game Boy. I'm thinking about the right thing, right? Game Boy? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm about the right thing. What's the other one? Isn't there another handheld thing? You look my age, talking about y'all too young. Bro, I don't know what y'all's, what the mod, I don't know what y'all's age is in my chat. I don't know what y'all's age is in my chat. Anyways, not the DS, PS5, whatever. It might be the Game Boy. I feel like I'm thinking of something else, but whatever. Yeah. Okay, so a funny story with the Game Boy. I remember this burned into my brain. So my first console I ever got was the DS, right? The DS was goated. That was my first ever, like, video game, okay? But I remember being on the playground in, like, first grade. No, it must have been, like, third grade. And this one kid had a Game Boy, and, like, everybody knew it. Right? Everybody knew this kid had a Game Boy. Okay? So literally, all these kids, not me, because I didn't care about it, but we would all these kids would stand on the playground actually waiting in a single file line to play on this guy's Game Boy. And they would get like a minute, 2 minutes, however long. Like, I remember this like I was yesterday. Bro was running an operation. Whether or not he was taking money for this in exchange to play on it, I don't know, and we'll never know. But when I tell you, bro, that's burned into my brain. Literally a single file line. Why do you have his face like that? W pause game. Anyways, guys, I promise you they would stand a single file line and wait to play on his Game Boy. When I was in elementary, some kid brought a 3DS to school and I was jealous. Yeah. I'm 21. Okay, so we're in a similar age range then. Yeah. So anyways, we'll continue. My first console was the DS though. Chat, what was y'all's first, like, console?
Similar to Super Mario.
Now they take turns hitting vapes. That's crazy. Yeah, can we go back to a simpler time where people were waiting in line to play Game Boy? Stinking Mario Kart Game Boy on the playground in third grade. All right.
Mario Kart, the controls were okay. The drifting is a little bit better than the original, not to a point where it's satisfying, but I also don't want to break my Game Boy in
GameCube?
half
When
when
was
I play.
GameCube?
And I
Was
think
it
that
out this time?
officially earns it the title
When
of
was
decent.
GameCube?
But the number one
90s?
thing that makes this better than Super Mario Kart is that every single track from Super Mario Kart is in this game. There were 20 brand new tracks and the 20 from the original, and having 40 separate tracks
thinks about
available on the
Super
go
Circuit.
was unheard of. Even though it has
2001?
its
Okay.
issues, I still enjoy going back to play this. It got me through so many car rides that I feel like I've developed an attachment to the game.
Bro, I
that
feel like the
can't really
graphics
describe.
give me
Yeah,
a
that's
headache.
called Stockholm Syndrome. No! Well, maybe.
And speaking of handheld Mario Karts on the
Oh my gosh! Chat, I feel like the graphics would give me a headache. Do y'all feel the same way?
3DS, we got Mario Kart 7.
Is this 3DS?
A lot of people absolutely love Mario Kart 7, myself included.
I didn't play this one. I didn't play this one.
Mario Kart 8 to be as successful as it was. But even with all
Mario
the
Kart 8 was
bells
beautiful.
and whistles, it still felt like it was missing something. This has one of the weirdest rosters of playable characters out of any of the Mario Kart titles. For some reason, Waluigi didn't make the cut to come back. But it's okay because they replaced him with Bugs. For the first time, you could now play as Regular and the Honey Queen from Mario Galaxy.
Random Queen Bee from Mario Galaxy made the cut, but my guy Waluigi didn't. Dude, Waluigi's getting scammed left and right. Bro didn't make it in Smash, which, by the way, Waluigi's so overrated. I'm not saying I'm not even a big Waluigi fan. I'm just saying bro's kind of getting scammed. Kind of like Daisy, dare I say. But Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
And don't get me wrong, I love that Mario Galaxy is getting some recognition, but this has always felt like an odd choice to me. And for some reason, they made Metal Mario a character as well,
that's
which
goated.
is something that I will
Metal
never
Mario's
forgive them for.
valid.
There are so many other characters who could have taken that slot, and I get there were time
Metal Mario's
but they could
valid.
have done literally anything else, and it would have been better. But for the first time ever, you can now customize your car all the way down to the wheels and glider, because apparently now these carts can fly. And I think this was a pretty good idea.
Customization.
The option to customize your cart seems like it would be groundbreaking. But for the most part, once I found a cart and character that worked, I rarely ever changed it. There were a good amount of options, but I never felt like it was necessary to customize it for whatever tracks I was going to be on. I just got used to how one cart and character felt and then used that wherever I could. So whenever I would unlock something, I would just look at it and think,
wow, that's so cool.
Toad is my main.
The real change that came with Mario Kart 7 was the fact that you could now drive underwater and fly through the air. The games in this franchise have never been scared to introduce a new gimmick. And if this was just available in this game, I feel like it would be way more unique, but everything that was cool about this was just done better in Mario Kart 8. It felt like it was a beta version of what Mario Kart 8 would become. There were still a bunch of cool things, especially in the tracks that were based off of Woohoo Island, but for the most part, everything that felt great about Mario Kart 7 was just done better elsewhere. Usually, Mario Karts on handheld consoles have less content than the games that came before it, and that was absolutely the case here. But in case you were the one person who ever thought it was a good idea, you could now play in first person.
Wow, that's a cool idea. I'm glad it only makes me want to vomit a lot.
Though it wasn't the first game in the series, Mario Kart 64 is what pioneered the entire format.
Yeah, I'm about to say, this is the OG right here. This is
would not be what they are today without this title. And though it doesn't hold up as well as a lot of people say it does, it is still incredibly fun. This was the first Mario Kart that introduced a lot of the things the series is known for. Items like the triple mushroom, the super mushroom, and the infamous blue shell got their start here.
Best items
in today's society, it is a rite of passage to get hit by a blue shell only to lose everything that you would ever work for. More than any other game in the series, this Mario Kart was the perfect multiplayer game. Unlike the Super Nintendo, the N64 had 4 controller slots, meaning for the first time you and 3 other people could sit down and play Mario Kart together. And with this being the first Mario Kart to take place in a 3D environment, everything felt fresher than ever. But having gone back to this many times throughout the years, every time I do, I forget how clunky the game feels. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you're someone like me who has nostalgia for the game, I can work past that immediately. But if you're not, then going back and playing this is like walking on Legos. The controls and track design were not as thought out as other games in the series would come to be. But the biggest problem I have is that there was almost no reason to play this by yourself. The moment you put this game in for the first time, everything is already unlocked. And depending on who you are, that could be a good thing or a bad thing.
There are CPUs
but personally,
in this, right?
I think unlockables are part of what makes a game fun to play. It gives you something outside of just playing the game to strive for. And though having everything already unlocked makes it way easier to pick up and play, but it also makes it so there's no reason to play on your own. And if there was something to work for or unlock, I would probably have this higher. But as it stands, it nailed the co-op format, but almost completely forgot the people who play by themselves. Mario Kart DS was the first time that we got
I'll
a 3D...
be honest. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all though. I don't, now that Mario Kart World exists where you can play online, which by the way, I know Mario Kart Online existed before, but I like this version a lot better. I will never play Mario Kart like by myself offline again. Like honestly, when I had like Mario Kart 8 and we didn't, like it was on the Wii U and we didn't really set up the whole online thing until later, so I didn't really play online on Mario Kart 8. I rarely ever played Mario Kart on myself because the CPUs, if you're at all good at Mario Kart, the CPUs and you play by yourself are too easy. They're too easy. So I literally now with Mario Kart World do not play offline ever. You know what I mean? Ever. I have to either play with real people next to me in the room or online. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Mario Kart experience on the go. And unlike Mario Kart 64, this had the perfect blend of content for both single player and multiplayer. It had all of the typical modes a Mario Kart was known for and then some. There was the standard Grand Prix where you had a bunch of brand new tracks, and for the second time ever, there was now just as many retro tracks from various games in the franchise's history. While Super Circuit was the first to bring back retro tracks, this is the first one to do it from multiple games. Something that would become the standard for most Mario Karts going forward. Outside of one, the character selection was pretty bland for a Mario Kart game. There were a few returning unlockable characters, and then two brand new ones, with both Dry Bones and Rob.
Bro.
Is this a joke? I will never understand why Rob got a slot in this game, but I'm not going to complain because it's kind of cool. The robotic operating buddy was a very niche toy for the NES that not a lot of people knew about, especially people who were playing the DS, so for this to come to Mario Kart was definitely a strange choice. And I would love to see him come back to Mario Kart as long as they don't do something wild to him.
So nostalgic.
Someone call a priest! Repent! Repent your evil!
One of the best parts about DS, though, is that the kart selection was really strange. You had a good selection of standard karts that you would see in other games of the franchise, and then there were some absolutely wild ones like a tank and a tractor. I guess Dry Bones smelled oil in the Middle East. And when you put all of that together, you have a solid standard Mario Kart that's available on the go. But there was one more thing that made this better than any of the Mario Karts that came prior, and that was the mission mode. Mission mode is something that is so simple but so great that they haven't added to any other Mario Kart game since.
I think I did this like
simple selection of challenges and boss fights that you could do as many times as you want. Granted, a lot of them were very easy, but this was the perfect idea to give Mario Kart a single player experience.
I think I did this like one time.
The mission multiplayer, and that is still the case in this game, especially when you consider that with download play, you only need one copy of the game to play with friends, making the couch co-op experience even better. Though if you don't own the game, you have to play a Shy Guy, so everyone can see who is cool and who is not.
How many ads? How many ads are going to be in this video? Mario Kart is so overrated. We did read that. Yup. I'm not saying it's like a good game. I'm just saying it's very nostalgic. My first Mario Kart was on Super Nintendo. Wait, my first Mario Kart was on Super Nintendo? A console? Oh, like that. You're not talking about the NES, are you? What are you talking about? What you talking about?
Of course, there were quality of life changes and upgrades that made them stand out from their predecessor, but there was one game that did something so different that has never been done again, and that was Mario Kart Double Dash. Double Dash allowed you to play as two characters on one kart, and though it may seem like a novel difference, it changed the gameplay in more ways than one. Before you select a race, you have to pick two characters. But you can pick any two characters that you want. Depending on the weight of your heaviest character, you'll get a selection of karts, and then you'll be able to pick your race
Mario Kart. Oh,
but more so than any other game in the franchise, the characters you pick matter strategically. Certain characters have items that are locked behind that character choice. Characters like Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong will have a giant banana, while Toad and Toadette will have a golden mushroom. But it's these small changes that will make all the difference to how you play the game.
That's kind of funny.
You can pick and counterpick characters based on what items they have. And speaking of items, having two characters means that you can have two items at once. Each character will hold an item, and you're able to switch them at will, so you can use whatever item you have whenever you want it. And this level of strategy has never been seen in a Mario Kart game.
Can we add that to Mario Kart World? If you have two items, you could switch to which order you want to use them in. Dude, that would be a game changer for Mario Kart World. I personally like Honey Queen over Rob. Dude, Rob appeared in like what? Well, I wouldn't say one game. So did Honeybee. Yeah.
Since having two characters on one kart not only means you get to pick two of your favorite characters, not one, but you could also play co-op and share a kart with a friend. Now, I'm pretty sure nobody actually enjoys to play this way, but I'm never going to complain about having this as an option.
That'd be kind of fun.
Having a reason to play one character over another is incredibly nice, especially when the rest of the game is as good as it's ever been. Though it was more limited than other games down the line, Double Dash had a solid variety of tracks. I only wish they were a little bit earlier with introducing the retro tracks so I could have even more to play. because the only real complaint I have about Double Dash is that I wish there was more. There's still the battle mode and time trials if you want to play those,
This on
but whenever I
GameCube,
go
right?
back and play this, I just wish I had more to do. It's a shame they haven't brought Double Dash back as a game mode in any other
That's
Mario
true.
Kart game.
That is
It would
true,
be the
yep.
perfect way to add a game mode that felt different than the standard races. The mode could have character-specific items, the ability to switch drivers at will, and its own collection of carts that you could use. I've been asking for this ever since Mario Kart Wii, and I have sent so many
Yeah.
letters, but I've only ever gotten one
The double
back.
thing would be
They
cool
sent me
game
back this
mode.
letter, but they must not know that I can't read.
Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe are sharing the same spot because they
Oh,
are the same
right here.
game. Granted,
Right here.
8 Deluxe
The
is
amount
a
of
far better
hours
version
spent
of it.
on this
Mario Kart
game.
8 was really solid. The problem
Yep.
was it released on the Wii U and nobody bought one.
Okay,
So instead
buddy.
of taking it on the chin and moving on to the next Mario
Chat,
Kart, they
I
decided
am
to just
so
release
sorry.
it again.
I understand partly why there's hatred towards the towards the Wii U. Chat, I can tell you right now, that's the console I spent most of my time on. Besides maybe the Wii, because the Wii, of course, is just absolutely goated, like game-changing kind of console. The Wii U, dude, I had some fun times on the Wii U, bro. I had some good times on the Wii U. I really did. Mario Kart 8 right here. Yeah. The amount of hours I spent on this game is just ridiculous. Yeah. This is one Mario Kart game I never got to play. Oh, the Double Dash one. I need to see what this guy's number one is. Probably Mario Kart World, dude. Probably Mario Kart World.
And to absolutely nobody's surprise, it sold pretty well. Dear God. This was the best-selling game on the Switch, and it wasn't even close. And that happened for a few reasons. One, because Mario Kart is Mario Kart, and it's going to sell regardless if there's a plague going on. Also, most of the Switch holiday bundles came with this game. Oh, and I also forgot that this is Mario Kart. It's going to sell well. 8 Deluxe came with everything in the original Mario Kart 8, plus so much more.
I didn't do
All
the
the
Deluxe.
characters
I
from
did
the
the regular
DLC are
one.
included, meaning you could play as a bunch of characters from non-Mario franchises for the first and only time in a Mario Kart game, with notable franchises like Splatoon, Animal Crossing, and The Legend of Zelda getting their own chance to shine, and even their own tracks in the game. And if you had asked me a few years ago, I would have thought this would have been the standard going forward, but apparently I'm dumb and wrong. It just made sense for Mario Kart to finally start branching away from just Mario characters. But what was perfect about...
And where's the Koopalings? The little Koopa dudes. I'm saying the Koopalings, that's them, right? Iggy, Spike, all those little dudes, the little Bowser things. Dude, where are they? Where were they? Oh my gosh. Why are they not in Mario Kart World? And yeah, I did like how in Mario Kart 8 they had like Animal Crossing and Zelda and all them. Where are they at? It's called Mario Kart World. We should be inviting the whole world, you know what I mean? Okay, sorry.
Mario Kart 8 is that this was the most accessible Mario Kart ever made. The controls were just streamlined and fluid enough for anyone to pick up and play this easily, because it was as smooth as it could possibly be. Anything from drifting to going from underwater to flying all felt incredibly natural. It took everything that worked about Mario Kart 7 and made it so much better. Both the flying and underwater sections felt just as natural as ever, and I feel like they were implemented in a much smoother way than they were in the last game.
Imagine bringing your side project to life
goodness.
just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
No.
And they even added a brand new thing, anti-gravity. I didn't know how to feel about this, and honestly, I still really don't.
I've only had over a decade to make an opinion. Don't rush me.
For better or for worse, anti-gravity feels just like regular racing.
Yeah,
if you
it's
bump into
alright.
characters
It's
or
alright.
the cones that stick out of the ground, you get a little boost, which is neat, but I feel like as a new gimmick, this is really propped up
We don't
by the
have this in
inclusion
Mario
of
Kart
underwater
World,
and
huh?
flying
I
segments.
kinda forgot.
If this wasn't in the game, I don't think I would lose any sleep. But
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8's biggest strength wasn't the whiplash you would get from driving with no gravity, it was the sheer amount of content that was available in the game. The base game had 48 tracks, which on its own was
have a
enough
lot.
to keep me playing for years. And if you
Yup.
combine all of the vehicles, tires, and gliders together, there were
Yup.
13,530 different combinations
customization
for carts
was
for you to
unmatched.
choose. So even though this game has been out for over a decade at this point, most people have not experienced every kart combination and most likely never will. And that doesn't even include the booster pass, which added an additional 48 tracks to the game,
Who gets that?
easily making this the largest Mario Kart experience we have ever gotten. I have put a disgusting amount of hours into this, and though there are new games out, I still think that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will be one I come back to time and time again. And speaking of new games out, Mario Kart World has been an absolute delight. Though it's only been out for a few weeks at this point.
Wait. Is this not his top? I wish, okay, I like this video, but my guy, I need you to put what number you're ranking this as. You haven't told us. You're just putting, okay, anyways. Is this his top ranking or no? What are you gonna, he hasn't talked about Mario Kart Wii yet. Oh, is he gonna put Wii above Mario Kart World? What's he got to say about this?
This is one of the most satisfying Mario Kart experiences that we have had to date. I'm not gonna say it's $80 good, but if you get the bundle, it only ends up being $50, which for me and most other people is a far more digestible number. Mario Kart World did a lot of things way different than I thought they were going to, but in a good way. After having Mario Kart 8 around for so long, they couldn't release another copy and paste Mario Kart game. They had to experiment. And one of the ways they experimented was giving this a full open world to explore. And I bounced back and forth between thinking this was a great idea and thinking it was really, really dumb.
The open world's just kind of boring,
open world seems like it would be a genius move. With the press of a button, you can instantly hop into the action and play a little bit of Mario Kart, which is perfect if you're looking to warm up or see what this brand new world has to offer.
It's empty.
I never thought I wanted an open world in a Mario Kart game. And even saying open world Mario Kart out loud seems kinda weird, and there is some fun stuff to be found in this open world if you're looking to explore. Throughout the world, you'll see P buttons scattered throughout various locations, and this is the closest thing that we've gotten to a mission mode since Mario Kart DS. Each P button will have a different challenge, some of which are...
The open world is really fun for a few hours, then feels really empty. You can't do anything. Yeah. I actually agree. It's a cool idea, but I get bored like 5 minutes after I do it. Remember Mario Kart Wii introduced the bikes? Well, then Mario Kart Wii truly should be at the top because the bikes are a game changer. What kind of mic? It's a Bluebird condenser microphone. Yeah. It's just called a Bluebird. Even the P switch missions don't do much for it. Yeah. I fear I do not care about open world at all. The only thing the thing I really like about Mario Kart World is the knockout, dude. I can't say enough good things about the knockout. It is such a good addition to Mario Kart. It really is. I love it.
Incredibly difficult, and others are an absolute breeze, so you never really know what you're gonna get, which
everything
adds
went
to the
open
fun
world.
And variety
Link,
in
you
this
are
world.
correct.
I could
Everything
drive around for hours, pressing every P button I could possibly see, and never get bored doing it. That is, until I've hit enough P buttons where I start having a hard time finding new ones, because for some reason there's no good way of seeing what P buttons you have left to do. You mostly just drive around and hope you stumble across one you haven't done yet, and rinse and repeat until you have found them all. I do like that you can replay them as many times as you want, and you can see which ones you have done because the button will turn gray once you've completed the challenge. But there should be a menu that tells me I have a certain amount left in this general vicinity. But outside of the P buttons, there's question mark blocks you can drive over and Peach medallions to collect. But that's pretty much it. I just wish there was more to do in the open world segments, but there's still more than enough in the rest of the game to make up for it. Unlike 7 and 8, they got rid of the kart customization and underwater driving,
which I don't like.
To simplify the Mario Kart experience for anyone to pick up and play. Now you just pick a character, pick a kart, and start racing. There are still segments that have you fly and drive on top of water, but the new thing that replaced it is so much better. You can now ride on walls and grind on rails, which may seem like a weird addition to the Mario Kart formula, but it works perfectly. I am still in the process of getting good at Mario Kart, so I'm not able to do some of the stuff that I've seen online yet, and at this point, I don't know if I'll ever catch up to some of these people because they are getting crazy at the parkour.
We got a bunch of sweats in here.
Going from riding on a wall to riding on a rail feels natural and
are y'all
fun.
sweaty in Mario Kart?
It rewards players who want to take a risk and try something dangerous, because you can easily throw yourself directly off the map and get set back a large distance. The new mechanics add a layer of depth to the series that I have never seen before, and instead of the typical Mario Kart experience where you go around a track on average 3 times. In the Grand Prix, you do that on the first race, but then with every other race, you're going from one racetrack to the other, driving throughout the open world in order to get there. Don't get me wrong, I love the consistency of the older titles, but having something new like this felt so nice. I'm not getting bored racing on the same track every single time I play. I go through it once, maybe twice, and then I'm done. And I can drive all the way across the country to a brand new track. And that's even more so the case with the brand new Knockout Tour. Knockout Tour is similar to a Grand Prix, but you have to be one of the first players to get to the finish line or else you're out. And that added level of tension keeps me coming back to it in both online play and playing by myself. It's a simple change to knock players out if they're not performing well, and it makes winning feel even better.
It does.
You get a fresh Mario Kart experience that keeps the heart heart of the game intact. And if they add even more content down the line, I could see this replacing the best Mario Kart game.
Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. Hungry Root is kind of like having your own personal shopper.
Mario Kart Wii.
You're telling me this is...
He put Mario Kart Wii over Mario Kart World. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about that? If it's strictly knockout, bro, it's on the top. There's no question, okay? There's no checklist and you can't see the map on the ones you've done. Yeah, the P switches, you've done all of them, Colby. You've done all P switches, medallions, and panels. Dude, if you don't have a map for me to show me how many I've accomplished, I'm not doing your mission. Like, you know what I mean? I have to have a nice checklist to satisfyingly check off what I've done. I'm not doing that, bro. Imagine a Mario Kart with realistic physics, like a real racing game, like manual shifting and faster cars. That'd be very cool. That'd be very cool. Is there a game like that? There probably is outside of Nintendo. Mario Kart World adds to my stress sometimes when I'm playing to decompress after a long workday. Oh, absolutely. In fact, look it up. We talked about this before in a couple streams ago. Mario Kart is scientifically proven to be one of the most stressful video games ever. Yeah. Anyways, this guy put Mario Kart Wii on top of World, chat. Let's see his reasoning for that.
Is better? Yes.
To a lot of people, Mario Kart Wii is just another Mario Kart title. But as someone who was around for the peak of the game, let me tell you that this was an absolute institution. You would have family members fighting for a chance to play this, and I have never seen a Mario Kart game come close to the absolute sensation that this was. What made this game so successful was the inclusion of motion controls, particularly the Wii wheel. If you were to go up to a senior citizen and ask them to play a video game with you, they may
Did y'all see that?
To the absolute sensation.
So let me tell y'all a piece of lore, and I'm gonna get so bullied for this, but I don't even care. Everyone always makes fun of motion control players on Mario Kart Wii, like, oh, I bet you use motion controls. And what about it? I used motion controls literally for the first 14 years of me playing Mario Kart, bro. Bro, I only started using Joy-Cons when I got my Switch 2. Which was, what, a month ago? Up until then, I was using motion controls. And you know what? I was real good at it, too. So I don't understand the hate towards Mario Kart, or the motion wheel. Look.
That this was. What made this game so successful was the inclusion of motion controls, particularly the Wii wheel.
That bad boy right there has been with me through thick and thin. That bad boy right there... In fact, it's still at my parents' house, bro. It's still at my parents' house, ready to go when I return. All right. Motion controls on Switch 1. I didn't play Mario Kart on Switch 1, though. I went from Wii U to Switch 2 in terms of Mario Kart. I never got Mario Kart for Switch 1. I just played on the Wii U. And then I got Mario Kart World for Switch 2. You have a question? What's your question?
If you were to go up to a senior citizen...
Wii U to Switch 2 is crazy. No. Only in terms of Mario Kart. Not in terms of gaming. I had a Switch 1, but I didn't get Mario Kart on it. So in terms of Mario Kart, I went from Wii U to Switch 2. That's it. Can I friend you on Discord? You can join my Discord. It's in my TikTok bio. You can join the Discord there. Yep, absolutely. Chat, if you want to join my Discord, like I said, it's in my TikTok bio. You can also come on my Twitch and type !my Discord. I have a media section in my Discord where you can send videos you want me to react to, kind of like this, or something else. So you can send them there.
And ask them to play a video game with you, they may look at you funny.
Hey, want to play Mario Kart? How did you get into my house?
If you don't play video games, teaching someone how to play on a controller can be very time-consuming and frustrating. But clicking a Wiimote into a wheel and then driving like a car is easy for anyone to enjoy, which led to families across the world fist-fighting over who got to play Mario Kart next. And it wasn't just the ease of play that made this so much fun.
Wario's Gold Mine
of the simple
Daisy
Mario Kart arcade experience.
Circuit!
Though I enjoyed it, having to pick parts,
gosh,
wheels,
that's
and gliders
so peak.
took way too long. and ultimately didn't matter. There were absolutely setups, especially in Mario Kart 8, that would give you a leg up on the competition, but a perfectly timed blue shell can ruin
Daisy
anyone's
Circuit
day
back?
regardless if you're driving a best-in-class car or not. But in Mario Kart Wii, you would pick a character, whether you wanted to ride in a motorcycle or a cart, and then go from there. And when you combine that with some of the best track design in the entire franchise, with a great selection of new tracks, some of which being the most memorable in series history, and a bunch of fan-favorite returning tracks from older games in the franchise, you had the perfect balance between simple gameplay for beginners and advanced techniques and skips for returning fans. And not only was the gameplay great, you could play as Funky Kong for the first time ever in a Mario Kart game. There were other new characters like the Miis and Rosalina, but Funky Kong is clearly one of the things that made this as successful as it was.
Chat, y'all mess with Miis? Bro, can we get Miis back? I know we're getting Tomodachi Life on Switch 2. Can we get Miis back for the Switch? Oh my gosh, bro. The RNG in this game is crazy. Was it really? Bro, wonder why it's peak. Daisy Circuit is absolutely peak. Anyways, chat, can we get Miis back for Switch, please?
I could see arguments for any of the top 5 Mario Kart games being the quote-unquote best, but for me and millions of senior citizens across the world, Mario Kart Wii will be one of the best Nintendo games ever made.
Let's be honest, you just put Wii at number 1 because it's the most accurate drinking and driving simulator. Legally speaking, you can't prove that.
W video. I don't know what this guy's YouTube name is. Straw Hat Midas. W Straw Hat Midas. Okay. Chat, last video of the day, we're going to react to ranking the final boss of every Mario game. This is not a ranking in terms of difficulty. This is a ranking in terms of peak versus bleak, as you can see down here. I do have an opinion on what should be first. I'm going to tell you right now, I have played a lot of Mario games, okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. A lot of Mario games. And few bosses have really stuck with me like the one from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Who remembers the boss in Mario Bros. Wii? Basically what happens, first of all, we get Kamek turns into Princess Peach, absolutely iconic, and like, you know, like, oh, surprise, it's Kamek. And then Bowser turns absolutely ginormous and basically chases you through the castle. You know what I mean? The good thing about TikTok is when there's a 10 minutes on ad break on Twitch, I can come here. There is not a 10-minute ad break, you absolute goober. You are absolutely lying. I do not have it set to 10 minutes. What the heck do you mean? In fact, I'm looking at my thing right now. Bro! I have it set on 5 minutes per hour. That is the recommended area. I've never changed it. I've just left it there. 10 minutes! But yes, you're always welcome on TikTok. Anyways, guys, let's continue.
Mario final boss fight.
5 minutes is still crazy. That's just the recommended one. I just left it. It's on the low side. It's on the low side. Chat, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mario final boss fights are all over the place in quality. Even with Bowser taking the spotlight 90% of the time, he's got plenty of gimmicks up his sleeve that range from menacing as hell to... Today, we're gonna look at the final boss fight in every mainline Mario game and rank them from peak to bleak. The original Super Mario Bros. Game introduces the King Koopa, and each world ends with a fight against a look-alike, which more than prepares you for the last encounter versus the guy himself. He throws a bunch of hammers and breathes fire, which makes him the most competent yet, but still not very challenging. If you show up with a fire flower, you kill him no problem.
Oh wow, really?
You can just tank a hit and knock down the bridge, and even with nothing, some decent timing will do the trick. It's anticlimactic, and feels stale for being a slight variation of every other fight in the game. This is bleak, and same thing for the lost levels, even with the little fire bar they added. Now, the castles that lead to these fights are a completely different story, so if you want to see a video ranking each of those, let me know below. The US Mario 2 introduces a brand new villain to terrorize Mario, Wart. But right before that fight commences, you fight the bird whose mouth you've been crawling through, which is a really fun twist. Did no one else question why this was the gateway between levels? All you do is pick up these mushroom-looking things and toss them at a few times, which is how you beat most other bosses in this game, so it works. Now, Wart himself is a good bit trickier. Bro does not want to eat his vegetables, but for some reason, they're spewing out of his royal quarters. I think that's another term for his butt. But between his bubble attacks, you toss these into his mouth to deal damage. The timing of these vegetables can be tough, especially with the attack coming during that opening. Annoying. It makes for a very unique ending, which sets the tone of the rest of this game quite well. I'll place it in mid-tier. It has some difficulty and new ideas, but it's still a pretty weird finale, and the reveal that it was all just a dream afterwards really devalues everything we just did. Super Mario...
You're gonna tell me that the storytellers at Nintendo, who've created probably some of the most OP storylines in gaming history, went with the "it was all a dream"? You're gonna tell me they went with the "it was all a dream" cliche? Fun fact, Wart made an appearance in Link's Awakening. Are you serious? Bro, I've never heard of Wart once in my life, and I've been a fan of Mario my entire life. That's crazy.
Land caps off with another unique villain, Tatanga, and it's a very underwhelming last fight.
That was
For
Daisy's.
A platforming game, you'd hope the last enemy would at least require some jumps and tight timing, but here you're locked into a vehicle and are forced to fly around and spam shoot at the dude. It doesn't play bad, but it's basically a one-off gameplay style for this fight and the level that leads to it, which isn't the right way to end the game, and it's pretty damn easy too. On a tiny little Game Boy screen, it can be hard to see everything and therefore offer some challenge, but playing on Nintendo Switch Online or any kind of halfway decent
This is the first game Daisy was in, chat.
I won't say bleak though. It tries to be different and just isn't all that good, so... Mario Bros. 3 finally brings Bowser back for a pretty distinct final battle. This time, the ground is made of breakable blocks, and Bowser throws his ass around trying to crush you. He breathes some fire at you, which is easily avoidable, and if you line up his ground pound with the center of the arena 3 times, he breaks through and falls to his demise. It's cake, and the fact that it caps off one of the hardest final worlds in the series makes it that much more anticlimactic. It tries, but fails.
He just kills himself.
Mario World's final boss means business. The grand entry Bowser makes with the tension and music building sets the stage to his reveal super well. There's a lightning storm going on in the background, he's flying around in a clown car, does this fire rain attack, shoots giant cannonballs, and tosses Mecha Koopas down at you, which you can stun and proceed to throw back up at him to deal damage. And
this is like the first real boss battle.
So funny, I love it. He has a fantastic variety of attacks here, more than any previous game by a long shot, and the build up to this fight is pretty similarly on a tier of its own. My favorite part though is that Peach is actually here for the fight, being held up in Bowser's aircraft, and she occasionally throws down power-ups to help Mario, which is more than she usually does. She's not an afterthought. You can see Bowser holding her captive, and that brings the stakes up way higher. For a classic 2D Mario finale, this screams peak.
Peak?
What if you
Bro immediately went to peak
by saying, "This is what I want." With Wix, you can't.
Mario Land 2 introduces a new villain, Wario. He takes control of Mario's entire island, including his castle. So when the two finally meet face to face, you best believe this boy getting his world rocked. The first phase is stupid simple. He runs back and forth and makes stuff fall from the ceiling, and jumping on him 3 times makes him run over to the next room, where he gets powered up by the bunny ears and starts flying all over the place. Still though, it's straightforward, and after one last outfit swap to the Fire Flower, he's handled in no time, which makes him burst into tears.
What a baby.
I like that he uses all of Mario's power-ups against him, and it's fresh to see a final boss that's the same species as the hero for once, but for as cool as Wario being the main antagonist is, it's style over substance.
Yoshi's
Island featuring Baby Bowser as the final boss, it's the most menacing battle against him.
You mean Bowser Jr.?
The first phase, though, is against the Tiny Koopa himself, and it just seems a bit unfair. He slams on the ground to make it shake, and if we dodge that and do it back at him, he's KO'd.
Yoshi fan.
But then Kamek juices him up with some pixie dust and makes him a giant monster, which is pretty freaking intimidating for a child. He breathes massive fireballs at you and slowly thins out the platforms you have to jump across. Implementing some actual platforming is great to see. see here, and by the end, avoiding his attacks requires a fair amount of precision. Defeating him just requires you collecting the big eggs that fly your way and sending them back at him, which can be tough while you're multitasking.
This reminds me of
and at the end, he charges at you, and you have to fire these things at him as quickly as possible. This has all the makings of a peak final boss.
Yeah, that's a good final boss.
The respect it deserves. Mario 64 has super iconic Bowser battles. When the camera slowly pans up to his face and that classic battle theme kicks in, you know what's going down. You fight the guy 3 times throughout the game, and each one gets progressively more difficult.
This one, I feel like he needs to put at peak because of how many times this has been referenced. The whole swinging him by his tail, that's been referenced so many times, including in the Illumination movie. You know what I mean?
Fairly better. The first one teaches the concept of these battles, throw the big guy into bombs, and the second has him start breathing fire, teleporting to different parts of the stage, and tipping the entire platform to try and make you fall off. The third and final one introduces new stuff too, with Bowser jumping and creating these rings to avoid, and smashing the arena into a tiny star platform to end the fight, which really shows the dude's power, but in my opinion, not as much as that second fight does. It's definitely harder, but doesn't intimidate as much as making the ground beneath you jump all over the place. It seems unstable and feels more like you're at his mercy. But details like the rainbow tint and the more orchestral and grand music make everything else about this battle stand out a hell of a lot more. I was never a fan of the whole spin Bowser and aim for the bomb mechanic, but there's no denying this is an excellent finale. And same thing for the DS remake. Even if it doesn't quite capture the same vibe as the OG.
Oh wow, they really remade that. Oh, Sunshine.
Mario Sunshine's final boss is just kinda okay. It's the first time you see Bowser himself in the game, which makes the moment feel much more special than 64's. But the battle itself, even with both Bowser and Bowser Jr., just doesn't play well. It revolves around using the rocket nozzle. You run around Bowser's bathtub, avoiding bullet bills and fire, and slam down on these different targets.
This looks like
Don't ask me why he has weak points built into his tub with
playthrough in Mario Galaxy.
Here.
Of course in Mario Galaxy.
Not having the hover nozzle makes maneuvering this crumbling arena much more difficult, which I guess is what they were going for, but they should have built a challenge more focused on the main gimmick of the game, not this underused power-up. I'm all for making the finale hard, but challenge me with the skill sets I've been using throughout the game, not the fucking rocket nozzle. It gets some style points for having the father-son duo and being pretty tough, but loses some for the lack of substance, so mid. Mario Bros. DS has a somewhat unique last battle. Earlier in the game, you send Bowser into a pit of lava and watch him as he turns to bones. That is dark.
I forget this
But the game doesn't go back on that and say, psych, he's okay. No, Bowser Jr. collects those bones and revives them in this weird-looking cauldron, which is a solid moment. And then fighting both of them at once is handled a lot better than it is in Sunshine. With the two retaining their trademark movesets from earlier in the game and combining them to form an all-new challenge. It's great. You're supposed to take out Junior first, and when you do, Bowser gets pissed, and now attacks with these waves of fireballs out of sheer rage, and if you avoid them and slip under him like the retro fights, you can take him down. For the game it's in, this is as good of a finale as you could ask for, and for the series as a whole, it's still an excellent note to go out.
I forgot about that. Okay, I haven't played through this whole game.
Was the first game I thought of.
Only two. I haven't played through part one.
The tone this game goes for is way more serious and cinematic, and this finale
Mario Galaxy is just goated.
Even ignoring the Bowser's Galaxy reactor stage that leads to this moment, which is a top-tier level in Mario history, climbing this long staircase as it falls apart behind you shows there's no going back. Your fate is decided in this encounter.
Dude, Mario Galaxy top-tier Mario game.
Of all. The fight's split into 3 phases that each take place on a different planet, which right there is dope. In the first one, Bowser sends shockwaves for you to avoid, then morphs into a rolling rock
Mario Galaxy is no joke, bro. It's not like an easy game.
A couple more times. Then the second part makes you whack these things into him after avoiding some fireballs and do the same planetoid smackdown, which leads to the final phase and pulls you to the core of this ball of lava. Here, he combines the attacks from previous planets and adds a new dive bomb that you can make him do right into a lava pool, which sends him running and makes him vulnerable to attacks. And that last...
I feel like this was like one of the first games in Mario where there's just so much going on. Like, it just jumped from Mario Kart DS... Not Mario Kart. Oh my gosh. Mario Bros. DS to this. And, like, look how much is going on. I mean, you have to look at, like, 5 different things. Dude, Mario Galaxy is just so good. I can't wait till it comes down on Switch 2. Oh, don't you worry. I've already ordered it. Chat, when it gets here, we will be doing a Mario Galaxy playthrough. Don't worry.
It being
1 and 2.
A couple more times afterwards makes the moment so much more impactful. Oh my god. Everything about this fight is peak.
Yup.
Mario Bros. Wii is a pretty vanilla entry in the series.
I'm sorry. What did you just say? You say it's a vanilla entry into the series. You just discredited everything you said in this video, my guy, because Mario Bros. Wii, that final boss, honestly, the whole game is peak. If he doesn't put this at peak, he needs to reevaluate his whole life.
But the final boss stands out more than any other aspect of the game. It starts off by making Mario run through a hull full of fireballs like the retro games. Then brings back the same old stale fight, which was only there to throw you off because Peach up there is actually Kamek, and he pulls a Yoshi's Island to make adult Bowser Godzilla size. He chases you through his castle while breathing giant fireballs your way that you need to break through the walls and progress.
It's
which
so
is a cool twist. You have to precisely platform over lava while a monster's running after you and shooting projectiles your way. It's honestly the perfect way to end a 2D platformer. It's not as significant story-wise because the game has no plot, but with gameplay so elite, this has gotta go peak. Galaxy 2 is a retelling of the original.
He just saved his entire video. That's why I never watch these nerds' rankings. They're trash most of the time. He just saved it. I was about to say that same thing. I don't like how we said vanilla entry. Like, what are you talking about? It's not a vanilla entry in the series. Don't even start with me. But the fact that he did rank the boss correctly, dude, the final boss in that game is stupidly good. And I've played, like, Mario Galaxy 2. I've played those bosses. Dude, I only remember that one. That's the one that sticks in my brain.
Through and through, and tries to go even harder for this last fight. Him being so much bigger at the start is awesome. He's just sitting up there on his throne nonchalantly and moves the battle to planets he's bigger than, making Mario seem to be at a major disadvantage. He's got some pretty strong attacks that are tough to avoid, and hitting him, requiring you to slam into these rocks that are bigger than you, is pretty darn satisfying.
Dude, it is satisfying.
Not that long, it is. He falls into a pit, the Grand Star is presented, and Mario nabs it no problem.
Galaxy is so far, the music is peak. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was fucking sick.
Yep,
this
top
last
5
phase
Mario
takes
game.
place in a void where Mario's hopping across some small rocks and once again launching him back at King Koopa. It's not as fun as the first phase, but the atmosphere and music gives it a hella
I can't wait to play this.
Yeah, this is our 3rd straight peak.
Yeah, yes, it is. I'm so glad he put that at peak. Dude, okay, I am so excited to play Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on stream, bro. We're gonna lock in for that.
Mario 3D Land.
I didn't like this game. I didn't like this game.
Bowser now chases you through this 3D obstacle course, which is way more complex.
Did y'all like Mario 3D?
He has an identity crisis midway through, but it only adds to the variety of ways he's trying to hit you, so it's nice. The only downside compared to the Wii version is that Bowser's a lot smaller, and with a less contained arena, it feels like you're a bit more in control. I'll take the better gameplay though. We've got another peak fight. This hot streak is unreal.
Okay,
Super Mario Bros.
Now
2
you're just throwing them in peak. Dude. Bro. You put what I just witnessed. Look what we just watched. You're literally just running around on these platforms, and he put that in peak next to Mario Galaxy. Alright, your video is discredited again. The whole scale goes out the window. I fear, no disrespect to whoever this YouTuber is, but I fear, look at this battle. This is the most plain Jane, boring boss battle I've ever seen in my life. And he just threw it in peak next to Galaxy and Mario Bros. Wii. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
More in control. I'll take the better gameplay though. We've got another peak fight. This hot streak is unreal.
Bro!
New Super Mario Bros. 2 copied off Mario Wii's homework.
I didn't play this one.
You get the hallway again, the fake-out fight, his troops making them all big,
I didn't play this one.
Gargantua and Bowser slashing at your platforms. It's still fantastic, don't get me wrong, but the rows of floating platforms you move between make his swipe pretty predictable. And sure, his statues breathe fireballs, and there's some parts where he floods the screen with fire, but you're not as much escaping him as you are waiting him out. The fact that he's looking at you head-on for the battle, though, adds to the menace factor for sure.
Yeah,
I think
cool.
It's an excellent finale. If they took a bit of creative liberty, it could have been peak. It's close. Mario Bros. U has the most underwhelming final fight in the new Super Series, which I guess fits the game well.
Wait,
on the bright side, you get both Bowser and Bowser Jr., but it opens with the same fake out as...
Oh, Mario Bros. U. Okay.
Mario Bros. U has the most underwhelming final fight in the new Super Series, which I guess fits the game well. On the bright side, you get both Bowser and Bowser Jr., but it opens with the same fake out as the other games. Have some fucking identity, my god. Even with Bowser being huge, the tag team fight isn't handled nearly as well as it was even back in the
I didn't play this, I don't think.
It is kind of neat that you steal Junior's clown car and drill his dad, but the two are more than manageable. We've seen just about all these attacks before, and it's just so freaking bland. It barely tries and barely escapes Bleak Tier, and same thing for Luigi U. They copy-pasted over the same fight.
Bro got so mad about that one battle. Dude, I'm still shocked to put 3D Land in Peak. Bro, heck, I'd rather play the one you just showed versus the 3D Land one. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
World is a bit of a weird one. I love when enemies use your power-ups against you, but Bowser turning into a cat, that's pushing it. It's mostly a vertical fight where you're supposed to climb around and platform as Cat Mario while avoiding
but that's pretty funny, though.
Meowser.
That's pretty funny.
There's plenty of different ways he attacks you, and the spectacle moment where you're going through a clear pipe as he's multiplying and chasing you up the building is really cool. It's the first time in the series where you've had multiple Bowsers going after you at once, and while that sounds super difficult, it's more visually impressive than anything.
That's unique.
I'll say it's an excellent finale. Like I've said, a fight that blends into a stage is my cup of tea, and with the focus on
this
cats
guy's
in the game,
a 3D
they
Land
had to do
glazer.
something with it. And even still, it manages to feel like a somewhat threatening Bowser fight. Mario Run does about as much as it can with the final boss.
Who played Mario Run?
And all you do is avoid obstacles as normal and send Mario bombs back at Bowser to deal damage. The game overall is just kinda okay to play, and this fight is no exception. It tries to capture the same feel as a regular Mario boss, and fails because it's on a smartphone.
We have got to the point where literally anybody
Mario Odyssey
without knowing how to code. This is
Mario Odyssey ends with Bowser and Peach's wedding being so rudely interrupted by the plumber.
Just cinema.
And in classic cartoon fashion, a trapdoor sends Mario into the abyss, and Bowser follows shortly after in his dapper wedding.
Mario Odyssey is
Hanging
top
Peach
tier.
by the ring he got her is cold, and the fight that breaks out afterwards is pretty freaking special. When Bowser throws his hat, you start with
it's pretty cool.
head lice and approach Bowser with your new boxing gloves. He's got the iconic shockwaves when he jumps, this time they're fiery, and he throws random balls of rubble at you that he just spawns out of thin air, but getting to him lets you start throwing haymakers. The first hit's a bit of a freebie, but the intensity really picks up from there, and the attacks between phases are especially tough to get through unscathed. The one gripe I have with this, and it's a minor one, is that it doesn't use any captures, but the segment that commences right after the battle has Mario take control of Bowser and run through the crumbling innards of the moon. Don't lie, the first time you saw this, you were surprised in the best possible way.
And the song
what
that plays?
What a killer way to go out. Control the villain and wreak some havoc, hell yeah. The fight is excellent, but the moment after pulls it into peak. What an ending.
Dude, y'all know the song
Bowser's Fury preps you for the final battle throughout the playthrough. When Fury Bowser attacks and you collect the Giga Bell, you get a few hits in here and there, and at the end of the game, you can finally defeat him all at once. Even though this incarnation of Bowser is probably the most terrifying ever, Mario gets powered up to be right around his size, so it doesn't feel as stacked against him as usual.
Yeah, that's lame.
And with all the practice you got,
Bowser's
it's a pretty
Fury
easy
is
battle.
cool, like,
Fun for
in terms
sure,
of how it
and unique
looks.
given you're the same size for once, but still easy, especially when you can start with his health bar already depleted. The second phase changes things up a good bit though. Once Bowser's body's rid of the darkness, you hop on Plessy's back and chase after him to retrieve all the Giga Bells. Some of these attacks are tough to avoid, and using Plessy, your rideable companion for the rest of this game, in this moment kinda rocks. Overall, it doesn't belong up with the best of the best, but it is a pretty excellent finale.
That's cool. Oh, what was the final boss in this?
The final boss is gimmicky.
I don't remember
Bowser's now a castle for some reason, but this battle has mad flair. It's all about timing your jumps with the beat, so you can get even higher and land.
This was alright.
It's one of a kind, and from the outside, with all the impressive looking attacks and visual candy, you'd think it's top tier. Bowser is grooving after all, but the gameplay leaves a bit to be desired. You're just waiting around for the beat and avoiding some tame-ass obstacles. If you can time things somewhat well, this will be a breeze.
I don't know if everyone agrees with this. The Mario Wonder was pretty good. It was just very, very easy, and I know what y'all are gonna say. It was meant for more of like a larger range of audience ages, which is valid, but that's I would not put this at peak or anything. It was good. It was just a very quick, fun playthrough. Kind of like 3D World, to be honest. I liked Bowser's Fury in 3D World more than Odyssey. See, that's crazy, but I'm not going to, like, criticize because, you know, to each their own. But that's crazy. But I think it just comes down to, like, what kind of gameplay style you like better. Like, Odyssey was more, like, exploration. And then 3D World and Bowser's Fury is more like your traditional, you know, whatever. I'm tired of that talking flower. Bro, did you see how they're releasing the talking flower? Like the actual real thing? I just put a clip of it on my TikTok if you want to look at that. I reacted to it from the direct, but yeah. Anyways.
Honestly, it was underwhelming to end the game with after all the creativity jam-packed into the rest of the experience. It's going style over substance. And there you have it.
Okay. So, no, I wanted to look at it. Go back. Okay. Okay. Zoom out.
And
there we go. And of course, he's got the massive things in the way. But either way, chat, what do we think of this ranking? W or no? Honestly, he started out really well. He did. He started out really well, and then halfway through, he just started spamming peak. Bro, first of all, why is this at peak? I'm sorry. Why are you putting that at peak? Buddy, say what you want about the old stuff. My guy, it's outdated now. I'm sorry. Put it down there, okay? It's all right. It's iconic. Here's the thing. When people say peak and they put a bunch of old stuff up there, what they mean is iconic. They don't mean peak. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Chat, we need a peak, and then over here on the right-hand side, we need like an iconic. Because that's different, okay? Peak needs to be like, dude, I would play this again and again and again. You know what I'm saying? So we need peak, and then we need like, okay, just like a moment in history, like iconic, okay? So peak, he just spammed it, bruh. Yoshi Island, again, why are we putting that up there? This, yes. This, yes, yes. And then he put... Oh, this one, too. Wait, which one do we not like? Yeah, this one. Why did he put this at peak? I thought he put one more bad one. I think it was this 3DS one. Either way. Either way, bro. I thought he put another one up there. 3D World. Oh! Wait a minute. Did he switch this? No, I guess not. Either way, chat. Interesting ranking. You know, W Jeremy Klinger, W video. Good stuff, good stuff. Chat, we're gonna lock in for some Mario Kart World to begin our gaming session. Are y'all ready? Y'all gotta give me a second to unplug my computer, so lock in. The screen is gonna go black for a second. Hang on. Are we still live? We're still live. Okay, chat, lock in for some Mario Kart World. Those were some great reacts today. I am very happy with those. Like I said, if you want to watch me react to any kind of video you have seen in the past, join my Discord. It's in my TikTok bio. You can also come to my Twitch and type !Discord and find the link there. But yeah, put the videos you want me to react to in the media section. And I'll maybe react to it on stream.